Betrayal. Hi, I'm Ray of Sunshining, also known as Ray of Sunshine for short. I'm delighted that you're here with me today. I'm Ray of Sunshine. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. I got some important stuff to tell you. If you're returning, glad to see you. If you're new here, glad to see you and hope to see you again. Maybe somebody sent this video to you, and all I'm going to say about that is we're going to talk about betrayal, and it's not really... well, that should tell you something. We're going to talk about betrayal, and it's not really a warm, fuzzy topic, but it's one that's going to hit home. Just like you, I've been through difficult times in life. I've been through pain and suffering and heartache. But you know, there's one or two incidences of trauma that really stand out. And I'm going to talk about one today that led me to learning, loving, and loving living, and to being with you right here, right now. The details of my story are entirely different than the details of your story. Different names, different dates, different places, different situations, different circumstances, all entirely different. Different situations, different circumstances, different dates, different names, different places. But the essence is identical. I have lots of stories in a lot of my previous videos about my acting background, and you know, it started off actually when I was a little child, and that story is way back. The essence of difficulty, struggle, heartache, being at a point where there's not even so much as a pinpoint of light at the end of the tunnel, and nothing to hold on to other than a sliver of hope. And there were days where I wondered where that was too. So you know what I'm talking about, right? My struggle, my trauma involves heartache, struggle, a false conviction, difficulty. What I'm presenting is the idea of doing something different to discover something different to make a difference. If you go back there to any one of my previous videos, you're going to see something different. You're going to see a different ray of sunshine, a different presentation. There's different props, different themes, different outfits, and that's the whole point. To put myself on display and show you an evolution, an evolutionary process, all kinds of different happen of ray of sunshine, a false conviction. And the entire trial for a capital offense lasted about an hour. Done. Guilty. Period. Doing something different to discover something different. And I have lots of little stories back there about different. And there's, you know, plenty of stories too about in my childhood and in my youth. And when I first started out as a small child, I used to play priest, and my mom and my grandmother made all the vestments for me, and I have that whole story back there. But that's how I kind of started out. And then around that same time, I would do these stage productions, you know, like a talent show kind of thing. And I was usually the star of the show, and the host of the show, and the director of the show, and all that sort of stuff. And that routine kind of continued on pretty much throughout my life. I speak about it in some of my earlier videos, particularly my pilot video, which goes back to over a year ago now. It's called Why Me? It's 25 minutes and 26 seconds of on the edge of your seat thrills. Not really, but it tells the story of being falsely arrested, falsely imprisoned, falsely convicted for a sexual crime. After we got out of prison, someone gave me a tarot card reading for a gift, and I went to see Liz, my tarot card reader. She's been reading my tarot cards for 30 years, and first thing she said when I sat down was, lies. Back when I was a teenager, I used to do things like get dressed up. I would find things that didn't match, didn't coordinate, didn't fit, you know, with paisley with plaids and different things like that. And I had this wig because I had access to a lot of you know, costumes and all that kind of stuff. And so I had this wig that was, it was almost the most horrible wig you've ever seen, and it had these, you know, pieces sticking out, and it even had some of the matting underneath showing through where some of the hair was ripped off. And I would wear it crooked with one of these outfits, and I would go downtown, and you know, I'd just check out people checking me out, and the looks on some of the faces, especially when people would get close and, you know, they'd talk to me. It's like, well, the other story that I have about that too is the time that I shaved off half my mustache when I met my first wife's parents and her family. I had a half a mustache, and I have that story over there too. So, you know, and nobody wants to say anything. They're all looking at you, and the eyes keep going down. And so when I used to go downtown with this wig on and all this, the outfit, it'd be the same thing. People would kind of be checking me out, and, you know, cross the street, go the other way. And, you know, their eyes would just, they'd kind of be looking, but they wouldn't say anything. So it was that kind of routine. Pretending. Lies. I said, what? She said, lies. She said, it's these big red letters up on a hill, like the Hollywood sign, but it's big red letters and it says lies. I said, I know. So we talked about that for a while. But you know, the thing is, back then, I knew there were lies, which led to a false conviction. I didn't know the extent of it. I didn't know till several months ago. I served a 13-year sentence. My husband Sid passed away before the sentence was complete. He passed away in 2015, which was about halfway through the sentence. But I completed the sentence, and then they decided to add another 17 years. Once my sentence was done, they added another 17 years of what they called community supervision, which in effect is exactly the same thing as probation, meaning that I'm subject to sex offender counseling, regular visits with a probation officer, home invasions by my probation officer, restrictions on travel where I have to get documents if I'm going to leave the state, and on and on and on. Now I'm sorting through the puzzle pieces, just like all the puzzle pieces in every one of my previous videos. So it's a 30-year sentence is really what it boils down to. But when the 13 years was almost done, just a month before it was done, I got a download. And the download put me right in the courthouse chambers. And I saw all the action. A download, by the way, is like this. I call it that because it was this instant flash that came to me, a psychic flash, and all the details became clear instantly. It's kind of hard to explain, but I knew exactly what was going on. I was in the courtroom. I was in the judge's chambers, and I heard the conversations and the judge saying, "We're not going to drag this on, are we?" So those who were implicit in the false conviction were all the representatives of the court, the judge, the prosecutor, and my own attorney. And you know what? Up until that point, that never even occurred to me. The thought never even crossed my mind that my attorney would stab me in the back. But she did. And this was headline news. I was hated by millions of people worldwide. And that hate went on for years and years and years. And I was made to feel small, and I was made to feel insignificant, so small and so insignificant that I shriveled up and became invisible. To put a puzzle together, to figure out who I am, to find myself. And if you find me, let me know. And if you find you, then I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish with this video presentation. You know, I've been in business all my life. I've had thousands and thousands of clients, people that associates that I've had personal relationships with, hundreds and hundreds of friends, and except for literally a handful of people who stuck with me then and stick with me now. Except for them, I became the target. I became the enemy of the world. But as a result of that, after a long struggle, I'm learning loving and loving living. And that's what I want to tell you about. And that's why I'm glad that you joined me here today. You know, in order to be betrayed, in order to be backstabbed, in order to be targeted for conflict and struggle, of trauma, that real difficulty, struggle, heartache, there have to be a betrayer and a betrayed. And you know, one thing that I've learned about enemies, people who hurt and hate, is that they hurt because they're hurt. But they're also fulfilling a role. They're playing their part. Somebody's got to do it. I've done it. I've been in that position before where I let people down, where I hurt people. Usually not intentionally, but sometimes fully aware of what I was doing. And I had to live with the guilt and the pain and the sorrow of doing that. But that was part of my process, to learn how I don't want to be, to learn what I don't want to be a part of my life. That could or could not be a part of their process. This entire video series represents an evolution. The evolution of me and the evolution of you. So the idea is, check it out from the beginning. You're going to see a whole lot of different rays of sunshine back there, and you're going to see a whole lot of different rays of sunshine coming up. Hey, did somebody send you this video? Hold that thought. I transform throughout the entire presentation. So that's the whole idea, for you to go back there, start at the beginning, watch the progression. It's about a progression. It's about an evolvement. It's about an emergence. So that'll be ongoing, and I will continue that conversation in future broadcasts. It's our time to blossom. We don't have to do anything. We just have to be. Human-kindness. Be the bright and shining lights that we are. I'm here to talk about surviving the struggle and healing the hurt. And you know, wounds like that go so deep that they last a long time, and it takes a long time to heal, and chances are you're still healing from your hurt. And so I want to tell you about transforming pain into gain. Even when I reached the bottom of the bottomless pit, and I spent a long time there, the one thing I held on to was a sliver. Maybe not even a whole sliver, but I'm going to call it a sliver. A sliver of hope. Hope that I'll have more hope tomorrow. That I'll be able to get through another day and be able to figure out why. Why did this happen to me? At whatever point that you might figure out that there's something beneficial here for you, then you can share this with some other characters and give them the opportunity to discover something different and what's in it for me. So that'll be an ongoing conversation. I have lots of thoughts to share because I've had lots of years to live through it and to rise above it. I talk about this on lots of my previous videos, which is, you know, really why it's important that you might want to go back there and check out some of those earlier rays of sunshine. There's a whole array of rays of sunshine, but it shows a progression. It shows the progression that I'm here to talk about today. Because we're stepping into a new world. A new world that's going to require us to be void of the old world. Transitioning from the old world to the new world. And the old world, the old experiences, the pain and hurt, served its purpose. So I want to talk about things that I discovered. Hey, Did somebody send you this video on a silver platter? Well, now it's your turn to silver platter somebody else. It all culminates in the process of discovering the uniqueness of you. It's all part of the recipe. So one of the freak shows I want to tell you about is my whole presentation for your very own You Stew. You know, and I have a video that's named You Stew. I'll probably put that in one of the boxes on the side of my head at the end of this video. You want to check that out. And stuff to tell you. So, if you're not familiar with my video presentation, I can sum it up for you in 2 words: freak show. You know, I have dozens and dozens of previous videos to this one, which is significant because you can't really have later videos unless you have previous videos to begin with. So that's where we are right now in one of the later videos, but there's a whole bunch of previous ones, and they're all, I talk in just about every single one of them, which is longer than, say, 60 seconds, and there's all, I got some videos that are 15 seconds. But none of them are real long. None of them are longer than a half hour. And I'm hoping, and you probably are too, that today is not going to be one of those either. But the first freak show that I want to tell you about is my whole video presentation. It's a freak show back there. So I talk about it in a lot of different ways in many of my previous videos about how sometimes, there's some topsy-turvy going on, or some shenanigans going on, or things that are a little bit off kilter, or things that are a little bit confusing. But the thing to realize is it's a metaphor for life. And sometimes life is a freak show. If you've been with me in some of my earlier presentations, you may realize that I have a certain format going on, and the format is that the format switches periodically. So I kind of, I work on the ABC theory, and I have my A section, my B section, all the way up to we're in the L's right now, in the middle of the L's. So the L's are going to start off with some of the format of the previous section, and it's going to develop into a different format, and it's going to change into a new format when it gets into the next section. It's all to show a progression, an advancement. So this whole presentation illustrates that. If you're with me, or at whatever point that you figure out that you're with me, the way to show that is to share this video. Send it to some character who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to discover different. Who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to discover different if it weren't for your willingness. So I hope you continue on this journey with me. I don't make real long videos, and so I will continue with the conversation at another time. Meanwhile, I think of us as one big happy family. The operative word there is happy. Is there such a thing as too much happy? Let's find out together. Hey, I know it's getting dark and you probably can't see me very good, but I couldn't drive off without taking a shot of the beautiful moon that's happening out here. And we're working toward a full moon. It's a time of completion, a time of creation, and of course that's what this program is all about. It's playtime. Create you. It's playtime. Create you. And let's make it's playtime. Create you. And let's make happy happen. Share kindness and share this video. It's playtime. Create you.